Afternoon, everybody. You may be aware that at a public meeting on Monday at the University Church of Great St Mary's, over 200 people from Cambridge and local villages voted overwhelmingly to support the following motion. We have no confidence in the City Deal's bus lane proposals and consider the consultations to be flawed and lacking in transparency and the decision-making processes to be non-evidential. We call upon the City Deal to consider instead better, smarter ideas, such as those already suggested by experts and residents. Subsequent comment was that the City Deal leaders need to go back to central government and ask for more time to come up with better ideas that the whole community can support. The call was to make it possible to research and develop better, smarter transport proposals, such as those included in the call for evidence, that will develop an integrated transport network that will improve quality of life and neighbourhoods, instead of these damaging bus lanes which would be so destructive of social cohesion and community life. So my question, what is the Assembly's response to the call from the Greater Cambridge community on 1, the resolution, and 2, the request that more time be allocated to improve City Deal proposals?
We can't debate things like that with a view to making recommendations, and notice hasn't been given of any such debate to the Assembly. And the basis that questions have to be in, was it 24 hours before 10 o'clock the previous day, obviously the agenda has to be out a week before. So there is an imbalance there as to what sometimes a questioner wants and what the Assembly can actually give, just so that that's actually appreciated. But I will ask you, Tony, do you have a response to this one?
I don't provide some history.
Not me. Are you still in?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so in terms of the history of how did we get here to these proposals that the trees partly agreed transform City Deal schemes. The City Deal transform schemes, and indeed the rest of the City Deal programme and schemes, are to support the 3 council strategies and visions for Greater Cambridge to 2031 and beyond. So the City Deal Tranche 1 and the rest of the City Deal transport projects are derived from, developed through the joint transport strategy for Cambridge and South Cambridgeshire. They were developed alongside the 2 local plans, and all of those were extensively consulted on. And the consultation on the transport strategy shows that there was strong support for improved public transport, walking and cycling, as well as demand management measures to limit the impact of car use, particularly in the historic Cambridge city. And then the board adopted its Tranche 1 proposals in January 2015, based on strategic fit with City Deal objectives, deliverability, and economic assessment, which informed these strategic fit objectives. And also, you may recall that there was consistent theme from the Hall residents on the importance of improved public transport, and there are lots of aspects to that, but journey time and reliability are key in terms of making sure that public transport is something that people will use and people will choose, and segregated cycleways are important in terms of increasing cycle use, and that's a lot what lies behind the proposals for road safety allocation of public transport, cycling and walking.
Okay, I'd just like to add to that as well, because you put in about smart ideas, etc. And, you know, I'm a great advocate of smart ideas and smart change, etc. But that is just one thing. We're looking at much all the other things. And as far as going back to government, I certainly don't, personally, I wouldn't want to make any waves going back to government at the moment, or handing money back saying we need more time, etc. Because I don't think we're going to get the money back. It's as simple as that at the moment. And we need to make sure we use it wisely this time around. That's my personal view. So, thank you for the question.
Thank you very much indeed. I went to that meeting to hear what we said, to participate. Was anybody else there? Okay. I mean, it was a packed meeting. It was conducted very well. It was kind of great and good. People with lots of really very, very interesting contributions. And I just feel that the fact that they've actually come along here with a resolution, we kind of ignored it at our peril. So I did wonder, can something be put on
actually, we can send a message out there that actually we are listening to what people are saying, and we are taking it seriously, and actually debate it formally as part of the next agenda. I just think we've got a bit of a kind of PR job to do here at the moment, and this might be an opportunity to give a positive message to people who are trying to tell us that they're not very happy about things. I do appreciate that we can't fully debate it now for this meeting, but put it on the next agenda to be properly debated.
Yeah, I fully understand what you're saying. I'm not going to give a yes or no as to whether it goes on the next agenda now. I'll have a look at and discuss it with officers and obviously with yourself, and we'll see what we should or shouldn't do. Because everyone can come up with resolutions all the time, we could spend all day discussing them. I do understand what you're saying about this particular resolution, so we'll discuss it after the meeting.
Roger, can I just ask a point of order? Just a bit of information.
As long as it's a point of order.
It is a point of order. It's that resolution in terms of not being able to be debated. Presumably I can bring it to the board. I'll give you notice about that.
The agenda for the executive was actually published. The main reason why the new agenda will be pre-published is so what we find for working days prior to the release of the executive board, which is the executive requirement. Oh yes, I forgot that. So the agenda will be published. If we pre-approve the executive board, so it means that you can actually have an agenda, have an actual team agenda to be published.
Okay, we can't accommodate it in this round, but we will be discussing it as I said. Yes, okay.
Thank you. I was at the meeting too, and I was concerned. I'm not supporting whether we should debate it or not, but I was extremely concerned at the amount of piss and tent that was raised at that meeting, because there were a large number of people, I'd put it at more than 200 actually, and I think it was very concerning to be at such a meeting and hear so many people so angry about the situation. Now I know this is just a snapshot, it represents a view, but there were a lot of people.
I fully understand and appreciate it, I really do. My job here is to try and conduct this meeting and not give any false promises or hopeful expectations for the next meeting, but to certainly take everything on board. It has been taken note of. Okay, thank you.
So I am chair of the local liaison forum for the A428 and Western Orbital schemes. I welcome the establishment of the local liaison forums by the executive board as part of their commitment to greater transparency and public engagement. That needs to happen. And these forums, I do think, have potential to achieve this, yet various issues remain, both operationally and in terms of their effectiveness. So the first meeting of the LLF for the A428 scheme took place on the 14th of June. It's the only one that has taken place so far. 23 elected representatives attended, as well as I think 18 or 19 members of the general public. And it was from communities the entire length of both schemes. So 10 key issues were debated and resolutions adopted unanimously in every case bar one. And it did prove to be, once it settled down at the meeting, to be a powerful representation of public opinion and collective resolve. But my concern is how the views of the LLF feed into the decision-making process, even though I'm well aware that they are advisory only. So the LLF minutes form an agenda item at the meeting of project officers to the project board on the 22nd of July. That's 6 weeks later than the meeting. Given 7 of the 10 adopted resolutions oppose the officer's stated position, can the Assembly reassure the LLF that our views will not simply be dismissed, watered down or even filtered out? This is particularly important, of course, since members of the Joint Assembly do not themselves receive the minutes of the LLF, and they do not form the agenda item for discussion. So I ask that the Assembly reconsider this, and how useful it might be to know what the official body for public engagement think. And finally, the timing of our first LLF was not ideal, given key Assembly debates on both schemes have already taken place and additional work already commissioned. We are one step behind. There's no point debating A, B and C if you've already moved on to D and E. The LLF will be at its most effective if it can feed into the decision-making process, influencing proposals, not merely reacting to them. So the timing of the meetings needs to be earlier, new information freely accessible and proactively shared. We don't necessarily know what to ask for, so do you agree with that? And we need to ensure that the public do not just see this as a box-ticking exercise, as that would be a great wasted opportunity.
I've got some things I'd like to add, but first of all, I'd like Tanya, if you answer what you can, and then maybe I'll answer what you've got. Could you Thank you.
So the delegated powers report, which I think is item 13 on today's agenda, proposes that the executive board should invite the chairs of local liaison forums to come and speak and to report back whenever there's an agenda item that their local liaison forum has covered, and also I've requested that board and assembly members will now get notification of LLF and the minutes. And there's also a nice new City Deal e-newsletter, so everybody subscribe to it and you can have regular updates on City Deal. The other thing to mention though is the purpose of local liaison forums is to provide a forum for local views to be expressed, to input ideas and suggestions based on local knowledge, and they're not decision-making bodies, so that's just to remind everybody about what they are and what they do.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Myself and the Vice Chair were talking with boxers recently over this, and then this question came up as well. The LLFs are going to play an important role going forward, and therefore I suggested that everyone on the Assembly and the Board should be emailed automatically, not only the actual meetings, but the minutes, etc., to make sure that we're all kept informed. And also, I was waiting for your one, but if I can make any of them, and obviously yours isn't the only one, I will go on, try not to get lynched too much, but I'd like to hear what other people have to say. You know, when you report something, it's very hard to condense it, and you get much better feeling when you actually go to things. So thank you for the question.